We're back with another Ronin Talk. This time we are recapping UFC New York. Lackluster card, but had some pretty good fights on it.
I was entertained.
It was entertaining.
It was entertaining. Can't complain.
DC versus Lewis. Did that go exactly as planned?
Yeah, it went as planned. I think it went exactly like I thought it would. And you know, ironically, I liked how Derek Lewis was trying to do those ninja kicks and all that, but
that's one thing I'll give him. He put kicks in his arsenal. I've never seen him do that before.
And there was a couple times where I'm like, man, DC wasn't so quick. That would have caused a problem. I liked it.
But I was upset that you chose this fight against the most prolific wrestler ever to start throwing kicks.
Well, you got to switch it up, right? You're going against, you know what I mean? You're trying to show him something new. But I'm not surprised.
But I mean, he caught a couple of them and took him down from there.
And then DC's back was hurt. We're found out now.
Yeah, he sneezed.
This isn't like an excuse because after that dominant performance, you don't need excuses. No. But I guess he had to warm up for 4 hours because once he blew his back out, he sneezed. He said every time he goes to a training camp, about 3 weeks in, this happens to him, which I know what that's like having that repetitive issue. Yeah. And he said something. I was like, man, this guy is on point, giving gems. When you have that issue, the minute you cool down, you're done for.
Yeah.
And so he made it a point that when it happened, he warmed up and he said he spent 4 hours wrapped up in guard, he was sweating the entire time.
Good.
That's just a guy, that's a vet move. Do you know how many guys lose fights because they don't know those little gems?
Little intricacies.
And hearing him say that about how he stayed warm, I was like, man, this guy, that's the type of stuff that comes with age, and that's why he's the champ, man. That's why he's the double champ.
Yeah.
That's why, as of now, in my opinion, he's the greatest of all time. We're going to see what happens when the king is back, as you would say.
Yeah.
We're going to segue into that for sure, though.
There's not much to touch on with that. That one is planned. What's next for Lewis?
I want to see him fight the rematch of the fight he had before with Volkan.
The Russian guy.
Close enough. I want to see a rematch of that. Just because it was entertaining to see him getting whooped up like that. And the guy who he lost to is devastated that 10 seconds away from that, and now this guy got a title shot that quickly too.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that as a rematch, or I don't think Stipe. I think DC deserves Stipe deserves DC right away. But I'm hearing all this weirdness that he's gonna fight Lesnar. So maybe Stipe?
Yeah, I don't know. That division,
it's weird right now.
It's a very odd place to be.
Yeah.
I could really care less what happens next.
Yeah. True story.
Weidman versus Jacare. Now, listen, I watched this fight very, very closely, and I'm gonna say it. People might get pissed off. Weidman was very, very, very disrespectful of Jacare. If you look at all the punches that Jacare did land, now Weidman was tuning him up. He was winning the fight,
and he was throwing those body shots.
Yeah,
and I did say he's either gonna drop him on those body shots or that overhand right.
Yeah,
he was going body shot with the left, overhand right, body shot, overhand right.
Listen, what killed Weidman is he didn't respect Jacare's power, and Weidman's left hand was extremely long the whole fight. Every single power punch that Jacare landed, first of all, Weidman threw a knee where he literally dropped both of his fucking hands and put his chin up.
I don't want to say disrespectful, because if you actually look at the way he was fighting him, he was long with his jab.
Well, I'll say disrespectful in the sense that he wasn't concerned about his power.
I think he was. Dude, if you look at the way he was fighting, he was long with his jab, and he wasn't throwing a lot of right hands, which is a lot of times respect for the guy's power. Yeah. I think he just got caught, man. I think it was a looping overhand right. They were both tired. Dude, if you look at the fight, he kept his distance better than I've seen him.
I just feel like he looked so good.
Dude, he was being way more disrespectful when he knocked out Anderson Silva. He was walking down I just think he got caught, man. I
don't know. I just think that that left hand, he had no regard for.
Well, I think that has a lot to do with that boxing style. He was doing that flick up jab. He was keeping that, and Ray Longo, those guys, look at Alan Quinta.
Gian Vellante.
Yeah, that's it. So I think he had the game plan, man. It's just, dude, the guy, I don't want to call anything bad luck in fight game, but so many fights where he should have won, could have won.
Yeah.
His last fight was a win against the guy who's now fighting for the belt.
Yeah.
And I remember Rogan during this fight was talking about the fight game, how he was talking about Weidman. He goes, sometimes just that little difference. And it was leading up to this fight, and it's like he brought this on, not onto Weidman himself, but it was a premonition. He was talking about Weidman's career. He was talking about these ups and downs. He was talking about these close fights, and then the exact thing he was speaking about happened. He was destroying. I don't want to say destroying, but look at his face.
But
he was stand up.
That was some of the best boxing I've ever seen from him.
And this is another thing. You're saying he disrespected his power, like, I'm sorry, I didn't see Souza going for too much grappling as a guy who should have had the advantage.
Fair.
He could have easily lost that fight by not respecting Weidman's stand-up. I mean, I didn't see...
That's a good point.
When his face got blown up, I didn't see the urgency to close the gap like you would have expected. So, yeah, he got the knockout, but if he doesn't get that knockout, we're having the same story about Souza not respecting Weidman.
That's very true. That's very true.
Because, I mean, where was the attempts... I mean, I don't like when guys who are that talented on the ground chase knockouts. Yeah, like, bro, you were getting pieced up. He won the fight, fine, but like I would have liked to see him.
That wasn't even a fight that we can say, okay, well now he's a number one contender. Like he doesn't earn it from that.
Bro,
what makes me upset is that I really thought Weidman could like get it back.
Yeah, man.
And I just felt like that one little thing, that not having your left hand up.
Yeah,
is
of course. Listen, I don't want to keep saying if it was a fifth, we'd both be drunk, right?
Yeah.
But if that fight ends in a decision, we would be talking about Souza as maybe like his career being damn near over. If he could just ends that round getting touched up the way he was, his face looks terrible.
Oh God.
I mean, we'd be maybe talking about his career being done. Like, we'd be not done, but we'd be talking about what's next from him. Oh, he's a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the path the fight was on, man. And same with this perfect example. How did Derek Lewis end up in the main event? A fight that, like, 10 seconds left, you got your shot off.
Yeah.
So this is the fight game, but, man, like, this is why we love this sport. Like, something so...
Because it's a game of inches.
Yeah, man. And the fact that Rogan was talking about that in reference to Weidman's career was, like, sad. Like, in New York, his whole family there, man. Like, oh, God.
To be honest, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I don't want to see Weidman fight anymore.
He's going to keep fighting.
He is, but I wish...
Sorry, don't get it twisted. Whitaker, yes, he was a wrestler, but he will stand with guys. Don't think for 1 second Gastelum can't become the champ. And Weidman will be thinking,
very well,
I beat the champ, and I should have beaten this guy. There's no way he's finishing that way.
Yeah.
There's no way. He doesn't have it in him to finish that way.
I know he's not, but
That'd be a terrible way to go out, too. I'm sorry.
So, okay, Jacare, what do you see next?
Well, he clearly gets a big fight. I mean, I think we give him Rockhold again. Maybe the Romero matchup. You have to, right? He won it. A win's a win's a win.
Him and Romero
right?
didn't fight?
They fought. It was like a split decision. Remember, he did the whole sitting on the freaking bench thing again. It wasn't as bad.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I think that's the most common sense fight they'll give because it was so close. It was a split decision.
Yeah.
I think that's the fight he gets, and it'll be entertaining. Okay. I still stand on my thing. I don't see him as a champ, but. He could do that to anybody, I guess, right? But it was just one of those performances where you're like, it kind of said what I said, right? Like I don't see him as like
he's not a number one contender from that.
Yeah, I don't think you get that. So give him Yoel, maybe Rockhold, and go from there, right? Bisping's done fighting, right?
Yeah, Bisping's retired.
Okay, cool. I want to see somebody beat him up one more time.
Yeah, I know.
But fine. Fair enough.
Now we'll get to my guy, who I told you. He was going to get the finish.
He looked amazing.
The last style bender.
Pay attention to this guy. I said it. I wanted him to win for this attention. Now I'm happy.
Listen, he fought a guy that was probably the most legitimate wrestler he's fought.
Well, he wasn't trying to wrestle.
The greatest. He failed every takedown.
Well, that's after he got touched. He decided he wanted to wrestle.
Well, because he went for 8 takedowns in total.
Was it 8?
I think I'm like 99% sure it was 8 takedowns.
It was an impressive win.
A single one.
It was impressive.
He did. And just a testament to like his striking. He threw the question mark kick and then followed up with the cross before his foot actually touched the ground
and landed it
and dropped him.
He was smooth.
Okay, his striking wonderful. Listen, he's one of my favorite fighters right now. One thing I don't want to see him keep doing is that when he hurts guys, he drops his hands.
Oh, yeah, I was just about to bring that up. Oh, okay, you're lucky you brought that because I was like, gee, weren't we just talking about a guy who drops a hand?
No, I don't.
Disrespectful.
Listen to me. I don't like that. Listen, he's a wicked striker. He's confident. I love it. But when
this division is like so weird right now that he could knock out any of these guys, man. It's such a weird. Like, who's his next opponent in your opinion?
He beat the number 6 guy.
Oh, so he's definitely breaking in.
So him
versus Souza.
So he either fights Souza.
I like
Rockhold. That's a good fight for him.
I like to see him fight Rockhold. I would like to see that.
He either fights Souza
love that.
or Rockhold.
I would love that fight
because Dana White.
So what's you all doing?
Who knows? Didn't he hurt?
Wasn't he hurt? He's always hurt. He's OG. He's 50. You know, I found out like Joel Ortiz, the guy fought Wilder. They're saying he's actually like 49.
Yeah, they said that they don't have those guys.
How old is Joel really?
Oh, he's up there. you know Urel's up there.
How old is he really?
I think Urel's like 47.
So yeah, I would like to see him fight any of those guys.
Yeah.
Like I think,
and I want to see him fight another wrestler because I really think that at 85, if you're gonna really make a stand,
you know what the
gotta
crazy
be able
thing
to
is?
handle it.
In the top 5, there's so many good grapplers, but none of them seem to want to do it.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true.
None of them seem to want to do it.
Gaslam started training at King's MMA. He became a
You
striker.
don't want to do it.
Right,
I forgot how much of a wrestler he really was.
like a legit wrestler. Remember,
All he did was
that's how he beat
maul you
Ryan
out. Right.
Okay, so he doesn't want to do it.
Whitaker doesn't want to do it. Whitaker's knee is blown. Yeah, I know. Whitaker's knee will be blown out. He's still like, I don't want to wrestle.
Yeah, he won't do it.
Yoel is the best wrestler, but he seems to give people way too much opportunity to not have to deal with it.
Yeah.
He gets way too many opportunities.
100%.
And he seems to like knocking people out.
Yeah.
Souza, we just talked about that.
He's not really grappling.
This division is prime for this kid.
It
is
is.
so prime right now.
is. And
everybody's injured. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's coming off of some nonsense.
Yeah.
Like,
and he's
prime.
actively said that he's like, listen, I'm wicked at. I think I'm the best stand-up in the world, best stand-up fighter in the world. But
I don't agree with that.
Well, I'm still gonna go with his swag. But at the same time, he's
Simon
like,
Marcus beat him. Shout out to Simon Marcus. He
shout out,
gave
Simon,
that out.
shout out the guy. But he did say, I really need to grapple.
I need Darren Till in my life. I want to see Darren Till go up to 185 and fight this guy.
I think he
That's an automatic.
the fuck up. I think it's over.
See, and this is what I don't like. A lot of people, you were very big on Mr. Darren Till.
I'm still big on Till.
Okay.
I'm still big on Till.
So,
listen, I think if Till stays at 170 for another year or two, he becomes champ.
I think he's too big.
I know he doesn't want to do the cut.
So you think he just smokes Till?
I think his striking right now, where he's at, I think he's striking.
I think who's the toughest matchup for him right now?
Either Rockhold or
and not even the top 5, just period. Who's the toughest wrestler who's actually using that?
You're up with Yoel.
Because who's using it?
Oh, using it. Well, who's using it?
That's my point. Is there anybody in this division that's using it? Because other divisions, we still have guys using it. Woodley's going to use it. Ashland's coming. He's going to use it. We know Khabib's on. Like, other divisions, guys are still using the wrestling.
I think the real test to see if he can have a real reign as a champ would be to fight someone who's big and can grapple.
And you know what I look at this as? I look at the Anderson Silva thing and I say, is this the same thing where he ends up in a division where everyone's a little old, everyone's a little beat up, everyone's a little injured, and he's young, and then like...
And he's just going because he stayed injured.
I said this before.
4 fights this year.
Yeah, I've said this before. I don't think Anderson Silva is the greatest of all time. Even when he was winning, so I said the division was weak. He was fighting. I'm sorry, nobody wants
the most legitimate. Listen, Anderson is a great fighter, but his most legitimate wins were Nate Marquardt. When he fought Nate Marquardt,
Nate was at his feet, and Nate was on supplements.
Yeah. Dan Henderson. When Dan Henderson came in, that was still prime time.
OG, and he got him down. You're right.
Yeah, but outside of that, I mean, Travis Lutter. Rich Franklin was still a good fighter.
I think he broke Rich Franklin for real in that first fight. So I don't want to disrespect. I think I see the same thing with this kid. Like a bunch of guys who aren't necessarily healthy, who kind of abandoned where they all come from. I mean that Souza Weidman fight. It was like, isn't one of these guys a world championship jiu-jitsu guy and the other guy was Olympic alternate? Like, what am I missing?
Yeah.
And then he gets knocked out. So this is a prime division for this kid right now.
Prime time as well.
I definitely concur that
he knows his grappling is what needs help.
And he's a star. He's what they need, especially in that division.
And he talks just enough.
No disrespect to Whitaker.
Active.
Yeah. I think this is what the division needs. So I'm hoping he gets it. And like I said, we've been over this. Wrestling is king, but I want to see it mixed up, and I would love to see this guy's champ. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's wicked.
So with that being said, we started this off by talking about your boy the King. So let's segue that with this whole DC thing, right? So we didn't talk about what's next for DC because
I'm sorry, I can't contain my smile. I'm happy John Jones.
Yeah, obviously we had to bring this all in. So let's go back and kind of segue from there. What's next for DC? Where does Jones fit into that? What do you think is going to happen? Based off the press conference, what do you think is next for DC? And where does John Jones and Steve fit in this whole mix?
So here's what happens. I don't like Lesnar coming in because, once again, I'm a guy of sense. Then again, sense doesn't really exist.
It makes sense. It's a big money fight.
For money-wise, yes.
For the heavyweight division, it's the biggest money fight.
It is. But here's what's going to happen now. We're going to have John versus Gus. I really see John beating Gus now.
Oh, I hope so, too.
Yeah.
But then he said he doesn't want to come up to challenge DC, and somehow he doesn't think being caught with steroids 3 times is enough to have to go challenge him at heavyweight. which was weird to
Well,
me.
because here's the other thing. DC has actively said, I want nothing to do with John Jones.
Nah, but now he's changed his tune. Even
No,
after the press conference-
there's an interview this morning that I actually read where he's like, I've put the dynamic of John out of my head.
Yeah, but that doesn't. You can't say that I have nothing. That's basically saying I'm looking at other opportunities. Jones is the one who directly said I don't want to go after it. Now I'm sorry. There's been 5 double champs. You can't call yourself the greatest of all time at this point unless you're a double champ. And I know that's crazy to say.
5 double?
McGregor.
Yeah.
GSP. BJ Penn. Couture.
No, wait. Are you talking? There's
5 double champs.
There's a difference between double champs and simultaneous champs. So which one are you talking?
Well, either one. So let's just go
Okay.
5 double period. You
Okay.
never. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Now in this climate of UFC, especially if you look at the BJ Penn one, like going up to that 15 and then the Couture one, you can't say like, oh, that's messed up. You don't have to like no.
No.
Randy
Okay.
Couture's old ass
Okay.
and BJ Penn.
So I thought you were talking
Donald
about holding 2 belts at the same
simultaneously.
time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying double champ because you won it in 2 divisions. There's been 5. You say you want to staple yourself as the greatest of all time. You just came off a win where your belt got stripped because you were supposedly taking steroids.
Yeah.
This fight just beats a guy you already beat within that time period which you were supposedly taking steroids.
Yeah.
You win this fight. Who at 205 is going to give you the greatest of all time status? Nobody. He's beating them all.
He's beating
The
everybody.
best person is DC.
And
You're telling me you don't want to go up and get a double belt
And here's another thing
and
I just thought about.
beat the best guy?
The only person for him to fight at 205 after Gus would be Anthony Smith.
Come on, get out of here.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But that's
And
why,
that's
like
not
now,
gonna
I'm
go-
like he has to go.
And I'm
up to-
sorry, DC. You can argue is the greatest of all time right now. If it's believed that Jones cheated, and I'm sorry, 3 times. Like, come on, I don't know how many freaking gas station pills or bad drugs. Like, nobody has that type of bad luck. So I hate to admit it. He's done something. Bro, admit it. Stop. You got to admit it at this point. How do you not want to go after the guy who? I'm sorry. At this point, to me, DC is the greatest of all time, and and this is why another thing. DC is the only one to ever defend his belt as a double champ.
Yeah.
Nobody else did it. Everybody else took the L immediately.
Yeah.
The minute they went to defend it, they lost the belt, or they
vacated.
And GSP's the only one to vacate it.
Yeah.
And that was just a slick move.
Yeah.
So at this point, you don't want to fight that guy. He's the GOAT right now.
Yeah.
And he knocked out Stipe. I think he can beat Stipe again, no matter how you want to flow it. I think he can out wrestle him or knock him out again. I know Stipe is, dude, knockouts from heavyweights like that, the way he got knocked out, he's not the same. I don't care what anybody says, Stipe is not the same. His chin is not going to be the same, and the confidence is not going to be there. Sorry. And then Brock Lesnar, he was a champ, he was a national champ, and it's a big way for DC to walk off. How do you let DC walk off as that double champ and then call yourself the greatest? What other fights are there left for you?
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, there's like now that because right now I'm trying to think of 205 because I'm like if he wants to make an argument, I'm gonna make a run at 205. It's just like there's no.
I'm sorry. There's no run. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about any of those fights. And like I said, I'm sorry. 3 times that cloud is there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's just I can't.
So he has to. So
you have to.
It has to go.
I don't think he can allow DC to leave.
Nah, he has to fight DC on it.
Like if DC leaves, I don't think Jones can ever get that stats because you can be you can go up and fight who at heavyweight. Nobody will care anymore.
Yeah.
If DC knocked out Stipe the way he does, beats Lesnar or Stipe again. And then leaves, nobody will care if you have the belt. It's the same thing we're talking about this is why the UFC needs Ortega to win the Holloway fight because that division will always have the Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
They need a new guy who's undefeated. You cannot let him walk away and then you go beat up guys who...
And here's the thing, man. I think if you're sneezing and throwing your back out, how many fights do you
He's
really
not going to
have
take too
left?
many more. And like I said, he kept bringing up this, my journey is the greatest, I want to be known as the greatest. Bro, there's nothing left for you.
Yeah.
They're like beating Gustafsson. I'm sorry, he's not going to do it because even he was trolling Gustafsson. Oh, did you beat DC? No, DC dominated him. Did you beat Phil?
Anthony Johnson.
Anthony Johnson? No. Did you beat Phil Davis?
And then here's
No.
another thing. Anthony Johnson literally this morning, said, I would come back if I got to fight Jones at heavyweight because he's like, me, Jones, and DC all in the same division would be crazy. That's from that I read that I read that at like 11 o'clock this morning.
Yes.
So we got a lot to look forward to. It's gonna be great.
I'm super excited, but yeah, I'm on the stance that Jones has to, and the fact that he had the least impressive win over Gustafsson, beating him this time doesn't mean anything, bro. Can't be the greatest.
I agree. Man, that was dope. We got a lot more coming. Pay attention to these fights.
We'll definitely be talking about UFC 231, Holloway, Ortega. That's a big one for me as an underground fan. So just be ready for a lot of content.
Yeah, man. Thanks for watching, guys.